Hello and welcome back everyone for another PKIdeas shorts video, the 10th one in this series and the 9th one for this year. Today what we're going to look at is a game between the great Alexander Alekhine and Gregory Levenfish. This game was played in 1912 at St. Petersburg. And so the game started off with d4, where Levenfish replied by playing c5, d5, knight f6, knight c3, d6, e4, g6. This opening here is called the Schmidt-Benoni. So it is in the Benoni systems and the variation is called Schmidt. And so in this position Alekhine played f4, after which knight b d7 was played, knight f3, a6, and now what Alekhine does is that he starts his attack. In this position we will stop for a second, and what we'll look at is the development of the pieces. In this position for White has developed his 3 pawns, all attacking center squares, and his 2 knights. His bishops are potentially going to develop in the next 2 moves, and he's going to castle in the move after. Now if you look at Black's position, it seems a little bit cramped. Here Black has developed 4 pawns, his 2 knights, but however his dark squared bishop and his light squared bishop seems really cramped, especially the light squared bishop, because the bishop cannot develop to any of these squares. However, this bishop here can fianchetto and go on this long diagonal. And so let's see what Alekhine played here. Alekhine played e5, starting the main conflict. Here in the position, the main conflict point for White is either on here or on here, on either e6 and f6. So after e5, d takes e5 was played, f takes e5, and then knight to g4 was played. As you saw in that position, the knight was attacked and the knight had to be moved. Here, the knight is obviously not going to go to g8. If, for instance, he went to g8, he has only developed 1 piece in the position. So therefore, instead of playing knight to g8, Levenfish played knight to g4. After knight to g4, Alekhine once again strikes. He plays e6. What e6 does is once again creates tension points on f7 and d7. What this does is that it also opens up the king. Here in this position, notice how the bishops have still not moved, because Alekhine has continuously attacked and pushed forward with his pawns, increasingly creating tension points. And so knight d to e5 is played, after which bishop f4, developing his bishop and attacking the knight. So knight takes f3 is forced, after which g takes f3, attacking the knight on g4, and knight to f6 was played by Levenfish, after which bishop c4 was played. As we saw in that plan before, after a6, where there is a lot of color on the board, we see that developing the bishops for White was a plan for White, and castling was also a plan, bringing all the pieces. So therefore, as we see after g takes f3, knight f6, and bishop c4, White has now successfully developed the bishops. Here in this position, let's look at Black's development once again, which is very much lacking. The only piece that has developed is the knight on f6. Other than that, every other piece in Black's position is on the starting square at which they started on during the first move of the game. And so f takes e6 was played, d takes e6. Now notice here, Alekhine is opening up the position. He's opening up because he is ahead in development. In this position, he even played d takes e6, wishing for Black to swap off queens. The reason this is so is that if Black once again swaps off queens, he will be 1 less attacking piece in the position, and therefore White will be having about 4 attacking pieces and Black will be defending with only his knight, and the checkmate threat coming up would be imminent. So therefore queen b6, not swapping off the pieces. So therefore Black played queen b6, not swapping off the queens, after which White replied by playing queen to e2. What this does is that it further guards this pawn over here at which the queen and the bishop are attacking. And so there's 2 attackers and there's 2 defenders. However, Black played queen takes b2. Now here in this position, notice that Alekhine has not guarded his piece over here. The reason that this is so is that it is a decoy. In most openings such as French and the Caro Kann, there are instances where the queen comes onto b6 and takes the b2 pawn. What White does then is that he uses the sacrifice of the pawn to create some more initiative in the board. as you can see in this position, the only pieces that are developed for black is his queen and his knight. He's continuously moving more and more moves with his queen and knight. Therefore, the development that the other pieces should be getting is not really there. So after which, queen takes b2 was played. After queen takes b2, knight to b5 was played. Here in this position is a neat little tactic. The reason why is that the queen can either take on the rook or the knight. The reason that Alekhine does this is that it tempts Levenfish to take the rook, which in case you haven't seen, after the king moves here, the queen also takes the other rook. So therefore, it's either 10 points to 3 points. So therefore, Levenfish obviously chose the 10-point option, where queen takes a1 was what he played, after which king f2 and queen takes h1. Now what I want you to do is stop the video for a second and try to find a forced attack where Alekhine uses all of his pieces to gang up on the black king and try and checkmate him. Alright, so have you found it? The move is knight to c7 check. Notice in this position, the king cannot escape over to this. Notice in this position, the king cannot escape over to this side. Or no, can he go to d7? So d8 is forced. So king d8. Queen d2 check. In this position, the king cannot take the knight. So therefore, he has to defend the king by putting either the bishop in the way or the knight in the way. So therefore, bishop d7 was played. After which, e takes d7 was played. And the game ended when Levenfish resigned. The reason that he resigned is because the knight is soon after. Reason that he resigned is that the knight is soon after going to go over here, delivering checkmate. And so this threat is unstoppable. However, you might think, hold on, what if black sacrifices some pieces? For example, something like knight to e4. After which, f takes e4, queen takes e4. Now, as you saw before, the queen now stops this threat. However, the knight still goes there. Queen takes is forced. Bishop takes. Now what Alekhine is going to do is probably play his queen over here, take, and go queen to c7 checkmate. And so that was a really nice game. The thing to learn here is, once again, development in the opening is really important. If you do not develop all your pieces, an attack will come really quickly. Also, another thing is to learn to never move the same piece twice in the opening. It is a big mistake because you could use those same moves to develop some other pieces. For example, in the case of a6 here, something better could have been played. Maybe something like bishop to g7. What bishop to g7 does, opens up the option for black to castle and make his king more safe. Therefore, we see that this whole melancholy could have been avoided if only Levenfish actually castled. And that's also another thing. Always remember to castle during your game. If you do not castle, your king is out in the center. If you see many games, most of the games that grandmasters at the top level have played, they have actually castled. However, there are a few odd ones out where they don't castle. The reason that this is because is that it is more piece activity. In this position, for example, white does not castle because of the fact that castling absolutely does nothing. In this position, white was given the choice to castle. However, because there was a massive threat coming along, he didn't actually need his other rook. That's why he gave up both of his rooks. So therefore, Alekhine is an amazing player when it comes to attacking. If you want to learn more about attacking chess, Alekhine's games are the games to go to, because they include so many tactics, so many sacrifices, and so many nice checkmates which include tactics. So if you haven't already, please go to my YouTube channel, which you're already on right now if you're watching this video, and go down and press the subscribe button for me if you like these videos. Also press the like button for me, and also if you have any questions, please go to the comment section below and ask anything you want. I will be happy to answer them. So hope you learned something from this game, and that being said, thank you, and I'll see you next time.
You really think I could be replaced?